Hi, my name is Joshua, and in this video we're going to talk about how to implement Google Authentication for your Payload backend. This is the beginning of a series in which we are going to go through a lot of different authentication methods, especially OAuth 2 authentication and different use cases. For example, this video is directly for the Payload backend, so admins or for whatever you use the generated interface used for. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to implement it in a Next.js frontend, and after that, we're going to implement it in a Capacitor.js frontend. And then, when we're done with Google Authentication, we're going to continue with Apple Authentication. If you have any suggestion, any authentication method you would like to see implemented, please write it in the comment or write an email. Also, this is our way that we came up with now to implement the Google Authentication. Maybe not the best way and not the ideal way. So if you have any suggestion of how to improve it, please write us an email, please text or please write a comment. So let's just jump in. What you see here is that I prepared something. We have the standard Payload admin interface with where I added this button, the login with Google button. We can click on this and we get to the Google Authentication page. We select an account that we want to authenticate with, in this case, my own account. And then we're already logged in. We can go on the user settings. We see this is the correct account that has been used. We see here our SUB. This serves as a unique identification for this user on this platform. And we also get the user picture URL, which we can check for a second. Yes, it's correct. So I'm authenticated with the correct account here. And then we can log out again and we're done. So for this video, I prepared a little guide that goes through the whole process. And what we are going to do is I'm walking you through this guide and at the same time through the code base of this example, and we see how exactly it is implemented there. First thing, you need to prepare some things, and that is you need to create a Google Client ID and a Google Client secret. For that, you need to go on the Google Cloud Console and generate new OAuth authentication credentials. Also, do not forget to put in the authorized JavaScript sources in the Google Cloud Console, otherwise it will not work. I also put that here as a comment. You have to put in their local host and the callback URL that Google is going to call on your service end or on your end. And you need to define them there, otherwise, yes, it won't work. The next thing is we need to install some JS packages, NPM packages, Express Session, JSON Web Token, Connect Mongo, and Passport OAuth 2. The Passport OAuth 2 package we're going to use as a base for our own Google Auth strategy. So yeah, that's it. Then we can just jump into the project. First, we need to modify the server TS. I copied it all together here. You need to mainly do two things. First of all, we need to import all the new packages. I also imported here the Google Auth strategy we are creating later. Then you need to add two routes. This first route, app.get OAuth 2 authorize, is the actual route that we call if we want to initialize the authentication process. And then we have this other route, the OAuth Google callback route, that then gets called by Google to confirm the authentication. And in this, we are rerouting to the admin interface itself. We set the session and we use the middleware, the Passport Authenticate Google Auth middleware that we're also going to register in a second. And we have this function that then also sets the cookie or the standard Express.js function, where we're going to set all the information for the JavaScript web token. We generate the web token and we set the web token with the correct information to the cookie, and then we redirect to admin. What we also need to do is we need to modify, or we need to register our Google Auth strategy. For that, if you go to the start function, right after you initialize Payload, we use passport.use Google Auth. You can give your authentication strategy a name here. And this becomes pretty useful when you later on add more authentication strategies, and you can name them. And again, we use the Google OAuth strategy right in here. And then we need to add 2 more functions. We need to add a passport deserialized user and a passport serialized user. This is so passport.js can get a user object from an ID and also get the ID from a user object. So that's what we need to do in the server TS. The next thing is we are going to add the button. I mean, you can do that in any way you want, but I just included it here. And for that, I added a little component folder, copy pasted the button right in here. And what you then need to do is in the payload config, also in the guide, we add the button in components. After login, here we add our own component. So we get the button visible. And as you can also see, if we look at the button again, this URL points to the OAuth authorize endpoint, which then initializes the whole process. Next thing is also the most important. We add the Google Auth strategy itself. This you can copy paste completely. We created a new folder, Auth strategies, and pasted the Google OAuth strategy file. Here we see we implement first the OAuth strategy with all the information we need for the OAuth process itself, and then we also define this. We also define this function that then when the OAuth process is initialized, we get an it's one day to Sylvester, so to New Year's Eve, and people are testing their fireworks here. I hope you could not hear that. So when we got the access token from the OAuth process, we still don't have the picture ID, the picture URL, and some other information. So what we then do is we call the Google API itself with our bearer, access token bearer, and we then process this data, we extract it from the response, and now we call the find or create user. It's also a function that is included in the guide. We copy paste here simply as well. And what this does is it checks the database if a user already exists, and if it exists, we return that one, or if no user exists, we simply create a new one with the information we just got from the Google server. Yes, if you've done all that, the last step is to modify the user model itself. If we go here to the user, I extended it very simply with SUB, which is the unique identifier for the user, and with which we also check if the user exists or does not exist. We save the picture URL. You could also save a lot more information right here, like how the user created his account, or with the Google or OAuth, you can get all kind of information from the user if you requested the right for that. Yes, but that's it. If you've followed all these steps, you then get to this outcome with the login, and we can follow through with it. So that's it for this video. If you have any question or any suggestion, please post them in the comments, and then see you next time. Bye.